Hello, this is Encounters with Life. I'm Sean Abigail, your host. What is the number one worst financial decision you can make? What is the financial decision you can make that will destroy your personal finances, your family finances for the rest of your life, leave you impoverished, leave you unable to retire, leave you unable to pay your rent, and so on? One decision. But I'm going to share a story with you to start with to introduce that one terrible mistake. So in my very first job, I was hired, and there was 3 of us on that day who were going around to all the various offices. We went to one office and we got our security pass. We went to another office, we got our accounts. And we went to another office to fill out all of the financial details. And one of the things they do is they take off a certain amount of tax based upon your income, so that when you go to pay your taxes at the end of the year, you don't owe or get back a huge amount. It's roughly balanced. So that's very logical. And one of the guys said, "Would it be okay if you took off less money for taxes because I just bought myself a new car?" And in a moment of stunning clarity, I realized that fellow was setting himself up for a lifetime of financial destruction. Don't know what happened to him, but he was setting himself up for outspending his ability to earn because he wanted a new car. Well, I have owned a series of used cars over my life, good used cars, bought them fairly low mileage, drove them for quite a while. I did have a Nissan Sentra that I bought new. That was I don't remember how many years ago it was, but I bought that car and I drove it for 15 years. And so that's the only car I've ever, no, I shouldn't say that's the only car I've ever bought new. I did buy one other car new. I did buy a second car new, and I paid about $500 profit for the dealer because I looked up the actual price that the dealer paid, and I bought that car new. Now, the new car I bought was a Honda Civic, and what I really wanted was a BMW. A number of my friends had BMWs, and I really wanted one. The ultimate driving machine. I bought into the image. I wanted to be the cool guy with the cool car. And thankfully, I was on a trip to Texas, and I was talking to my friend Jorge. We were driving around getting some lunch in his BMW. I said, "Jorge, BMW, is it really the ultimate driving machine?" He said, "It's okay, but I wouldn't get another one." And I said, okay. And so instead of buying myself a BMW, I bought myself a Honda Civic, and I put some money aside for some other things that I needed. And then I phoned up Jorge. I said, "Hey, Jorge, I just bought myself a brand new Honda Civic." He said, "That's great, Sean. I just bought myself a brand new BMW." It's like, "Jorge, you said..." You know what? Good for Jorge. Great guy, sensible guy. I'm sure it'll all work out for him. But here's the thing. If you look at videos from Dave Ramsey, for instance, person after person, it's like, "Oh, Dave, it's so tight, it's so tough. I don't have money for my rent, and I don't have money for food, and I pay $1,000 a month on my car." It's like, what? That's insane. And Dave Ramsey will be pretty direct with people. Like, you can't afford a new car. "But Dave, I have to keep this car because it's underwater. You see, I owe $50,000 on the car, but if I sell it, I'll only get $40,000. And so I'm going to be still owing $10,000, and I won't have a car. So I need to hang on to this expensive car that's killing me financially." And Dave has some very blunt advice. He's clear that probably until you are a millionaire, you can't afford to buy new cars. And you know what? Well, maybe you do, I don't know. But if you watch Caleb Hammer, same kind of thing. People with insane car debt. And maybe you just can't afford it. I talked to a guy, I won't say his name, but I used to work with him, and he said that he leased his cars. And I said, but you do realize that is the single most expensive way to own a vehicle. Leasing is just insane how much it costs. He said, "Yeah, but I like to drive new cars." Well, of course he likes to drive new cars. Everyone likes to drive new cars. The thing is whether we can actually afford it, whether it's actually crippling us, whether that money that we are dropping into car debt, an asset that it depreciates right from the moment you bring it off the car lot, it drops in value by 10, 20%, and it just keeps on going down. The real question is whether you can afford that or whether you should be putting that money into something else, like maybe retirement savings, maybe an emergency fund. There's lots of things that you could and should be putting your money into rather than huge car debt. I'm not saying you can never buy a new car. I'm not saying you should drive a beater. Okay? What I am saying is car debt is the number one worst type of debt. It is the number one way to destroy yourself financially, to make sure that you will never be able to build wealth, and to make sure that your family suffers. If you can have the self-control to drive a good, reasonable car, then you will do well financially. That's the number one mistake. Maybe you've made other mistakes. What do you think of this advice? Love to hear your comments in the comment section. I would also love to hear, I would love to have some subscriptions, some subscribers, because every subscriber means the world to me. Thank you very much. I'm Sean Abigail. That's Encounters with Life.